This spotlight is all about exit planning. Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial, and this segment's brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. Joining me on this segment is Greg Wood. He's the founder of Phoenix Exchange Exit Planning and Acquisitions. Greg, welcome to the program.
It's great to be here, Mark. I appreciate the invite.
Greg, tell us a little bit about your work and specifically who are the types of clients that you specialize in helping?
Um, I'm mostly dealing with manufacturing and service businesses in the region here, Waterloo, and I help them with their exit planning and figuring out where they fit in. Um, and then I'm also a licensed business broker, so I'm getting people coming at both sides, and a lot of times I'm finding that they're really not prepared. And that's where I saw a real need for this exit planning.
Tell us a little bit more about that. What are some of the preconceived notions that business owners have when it comes to selling a business or even preparing for an exit? What are they thinking?
Honestly, a lot of times I don't think they are. They're just getting to that point, or something triggers in their life that all of a sudden says, oh, I've got to do something. And they're usually thinking about going straight to market. And that's one of the biggest challenges, is trying to get them to slow down a little bit and understand, well, they might have a great story, but their financials actually match that story.
Gotcha. So you mentioned both exit planning and, brokering the business for sale. Can you kind of unpack that a little bit? Tell us like the importance of proper exit planning. What's the goal there before you put that business to market?
The goal is like, if there's any low hanging fruit that can be allowed to improve the bottom line and cash flow of this business, you need a little bit of time to do that. The other issue that keeps coming up is that their perceived what they want for the business in value is not matching up with how their business is presenting, and they need that time. Unless and because you fall into that trap of being an unsellable business. I'm sure you've heard some of the stats out there of how many businesses don't sell that are put up.
What are
And
some of the pitfalls? Can you tell us some of the big mistakes you see people make that may sabotage their success at selling?
yes, it's they start slowing down on their business because they're planning in their own head um, a retirement and leaving, and they're not staying on top of the game. So the business that was very profitable at the time they're ready to go to market, it's not quite there. And
Gotcha.
yeah,
A lot of folks don't understand, the role of that exit planning advisor. Can you kind of give us a 10,000-foot view on how you come in and what areas do you really help those business owners focus on improving?
well, one of it is just preparing for an exit, making sure all their ducks are lined up, you know, um, and where, and so helping them understand the impact of some of their decisions they're making, as they, because every business owner runs their business their own way, but how that can impact what it looks like, and cleaning up their expenses and getting rid of, so there's not so many normalization entries. Start figuring out how to do things the way it should be, and getting rid of maybe people on the payroll that aren't needed, um, and cleaning out some of those expenses. One of the other things is they start doing this planning, but they're not really communicating with their accountants enough. And all of a sudden, when you have a deal that looks like it's ready to go, somebody starts saying, well, we really need to sell the shares, not the assets. Or we've got to, clean up the balance sheet now. Because in Canada, a lot of people, we have this lifetime capital gains exemption. So the business owners want to sell shares so they qualify. But there's a number of steps they have to do to qualify. and just pointing that out, that these really are things you got to work out with your accountant and make sure you're going to qualify for this exit. Um, and too often they're just not prepared. Um, they haven't, considered, some of the implications of, the financing that's going to be required, or a vendor take back. So helping them, and with the exit planning, what we really find is there's a gap between what you're telling them, is the value of your business, everything we can see and looking at it, and what they actually want. And then it gets down into, well, do you have time to start implementing some strategies that's going to expand your growth and making you more of a target for businesses? And that can range from just you know focusing on the business, building your sales out, narrowing into a niche, or it could go into actually acquiring another business that's going to allow you to have more appeal because you're maybe doubling your revenue by bringing that in. And that's one of the other things you see a lot of these, low mid market, Main Street businesses where they built quite a hefty overhead. But that's the way we've been running the business, for 20 years, and trying to think about how are you going to peel this down. Find, I'm going to have, several people in an accounting department because that's the way it was always done. And you can start peeling that down and outsourcing, the monthly bookkeeping and a number of things to reduce the number of staff and overhead. And that's hard to convince them to do because they have loyalties to their employees usually and want to pass that on to the new buyer, which is really a hidden liability if they're not all winners, right?
Great insight. Greg, what inspired you to get into this field and help business owners with their exit planning and selling their businesses? How did you get started?
I done, I started out in a public accounting practice, went into industry, and then I did a lot of consulting. And I saw, a lot of businesses getting involved in deals or trying to move forward and not really understanding all the dynamics of the process and what a normal transaction looks like. And with the position I have now, I'm able to work with a number of business owners and really coach them through this process of evaluating where they are and get a real um, statement about their business, an opinion about their business, as opposed to, their buddy on the golf course or their next door neighbor who sold a business that was similar, but um, some of the more interesting examples I've seen is when I get two businesses that I'm talking to, and there's, oh, we're going to join together. We're both about the same sales, and we're both the same value. And then you look at one that's got nothing on it, no liabilities on its balance sheet, huge working capital, and the other one has, all kinds of liabilities. And you're trying to explain to them they're not equal. It doesn't matter that, uh, and so it's just giving them a real benchmark to look at.
Terrific. Greg, before I ask you my last question, in regards to exit planning and selling a business, is there anything I didn't think to ask you that you feel is important to share with business owners?
Well, one of the stats you keep hearing is that, 75% of the owners after a sale are unsatisfied, unhappy with it, or, disappointed. And I think trying to do more education of the owner and explaining how the transaction is going to work could really lessen that. So they're not going to be as surprised that all of a sudden, well, I didn't anticipate these extra costs, and having a little bit of a financial model that allows them to understand, oh yeah, I'm going to have that cost, and yeah, I'm going to probably have some taxes over here, and the accountant can give them the exact amount, but um, it lessens their disappointment, I think. And that's something I feel because of my background. Um, I think I can help them with. I use the line sometimes. I have a unique set of skills. It's from a Liam Nelson movie.
Greg,
Kidnap.
for business owners that are listening that would love to speak with you, how can they find you and connect with you?
The easiest way is just going on to LinkedIn, Greg Wood. Um, uh, Actually, it's under Greg Wood CEPA, CEPA, and or they can contact me by email, which is g.wood at phoenixexchange .ca. But it's easier to find me on LinkedIn, I find.
Terrific. Greg, this has been fantastic. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you very much. It was great meeting you.
That was Greg Wood, the founder of Phoenix Exchange Exit Planning and Acquisitions. And this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.